She thought you'd beg, but your silence is breaking her. She thought you would beg because she remembered the old version of you, the version that could not sleep when her energy changed, the version that kept checking the phone even after promising himself he was done, the version that sent one more message, then regretted it, the version that explained his heart to someone who was already choosing distance, the version that believed if he could just say the perfect words, show enough pain, prove enough loyalty, and make her understand how much he cared, maybe she would finally come back. But this time, you did not beg. You did not chase. You did not send the paragraph. You did not ask why she changed. You did not keep checking if she was online. You did not keep knocking on a door she kept closing. You stayed silent. And not the weak kind of silence where your mouth is quiet but your mind is still chasing. Not the fake kind of silence where every post is secretly for her. Not the childish kind of silence where you are trying to punish her into feeling something. Real silence, the kind that comes from a man finally realizing that begging for someone to see his worth only makes him forget it himself. That is what changes everything. Because when a woman expects you to beg and you do not, she does not just notice your absence, she notices that the old pattern is gone. She notices that the man who used to bend when she pulled away is no longer moving the same way. She notices that your attention is no longer automatic. Your emotions are no longer easy access, and your life is no longer paused around her return. But listen carefully, your silence is not meant to break her. It is meant to break the part of you that kept abandoning yourself. That is the deeper truth. Because a weak man uses silence as revenge, a strong man uses silence as recovery. A weak man wants her to suffer. A strong man wants his peace back. A weak man wants her to regret. A strong man wants to become a man he respects again. And when your silence comes from that place, it carries a different weight. She may have expected you to beg because maybe before that is what you did. When she got cold, you got warmer. When she pulled away, you came closer. When she stopped replying, you explained more. When she gave less, you gave more. When she became unclear, you tried harder to prove you were worth choosing. And every time you did that, you thought you were showing love. But what she often felt was pressure. What she often saw was fear. What your own mind learned was dangerous. That her silence had more power than your standards. That is how a man slowly becomes an option, not because he has no value, because he keeps acting like his value needs to be confirmed by someone who is already treating him casually. A man does not regain respect by begging. He regains respect by becoming calm enough to stop feeding the dynamic that made him small. That is where your power begins. When she hurts you, pulls away, ignores you, chooses distance, or acts like your presence does not matter, the first instinct is to do something immediately. Send a message. Explain. Apologize again. Ask what happened. Ask if she still cares. Ask if there is someone else. Ask for closure. But the first instinct after pain is usually not wisdom. It is panic looking for relief. A strong man does not let panic write the message. He does not let fear choose the action. He does not let heartbreak make him perform for someone's attention. He pauses. That pause is where self respect lives, because when you pause, you stop reacting like the old version of yourself. You give your mind time to catch up to your values. You stop turning every emotion into a message. You stop proving that her distance can still control your behavior. That is why silence matters. Not silence as a game, silence as control, silence as discipline. Silence as the moment you finally stop handing your piece to someone else's mood. Most men do not understand this. They think silence means doing nothing. But real silence is not passive, real silence is active. It is you choosing not to chase while your body wants to. It is you choosing not to check while your mind is begging for information. It is you choosing not to post for her reaction while your ego wants proof that she still cares. Real silence is work, is private work, and private work builds the kind of confidence no one can fake. Every time you do not text from panic, you rebuild self trust. Every time you do not check her story, you rebuild control. Every time you do not ask a mutual friend about her, you rebuild dignity. Every time you feel lonely and still choose your routine, you become stronger. That is what she did not expect. She expected emotional waiting. You chose discipline. She expected hidden chasing. You chose real absence. She expected you to fold. You started becoming a man with standards. And that is the part that hits differently because people often take access for granted when it is too easy. If she could pull away and still receive your full attention, your attention had no boundary. If she could ignore you and still know you were waiting, your presence had no consequence. If she could give one small signal and receive your whole heart back, your access was too cheap. Stop making access to you cheap, not by acting arrogant, not by becoming cruel, not by playing games, by remembering that your time, peace, attention, loyalty, and emotional energy have value. A man with self respect does not throw those things at someone who is choosing confusion. He does not hate her. He does not attack her. He does not need revenge. He simply stops investing where effort is not mutual. That is maturity. And maturity confuses people who expected weakness. When she expected you to beg, she expected you to confirm the old story. The story where she had distance and you had desperation. The story where she could go cold and you would try harder. The story where she could leave the door half open and you would stand outside it waiting for permission to matter again. But your silence interrupts that story, not with drama, with absence, no message, no emotional paragraph, no late night check in, no indirect post, no little excuse to reopen the door, no hidden begging, just you returning to your own life. You cannot be missed if you refuse to become absent. That line matters. You cannot be missed if you keep showing up. You cannot be missed if she knows you are still watching. You cannot be missed if your energy is still orbiting around her life. You cannot be missed if every part of your healing is still designed for her to notice. Real absence means your attention comes back to you. Your body needs you. Your work needs you. Your sleep needs you. Your discipline needs you. Your faith needs you. Your future needs you. Stop giving your strongest energy to someone who is giving you uncertainty. That is not bitterness. That is self respect. Now, when you stay silent, your mind will fight you, especially at night. During the day, you can distract yourself. Work, gym, noise, people, movement. But at night, everything gets quiet. The memories come back. The old messages come back. Her voice comes back. The warm version of her comes back. The version that made you feel chosen comes back. Then the cold version comes back too. The distance, the silence, the way she acted like the connection suddenly meant less. And your mind starts negotiating. Maybe I should send one message. Maybe she is waiting for me. Maybe if I stay silent too long, she will forget me. Maybe she thinks I never cared. Maybe I need closure. Maybe I should just check once. But be honest with yourself. Many times you do not want closure. You want relief. You want one reply to stop the pain. You want one sign to prove you still matter. You want one small signal so your nervous system can calm down. That is not strength, that is emotional dependence. A strong man tells himself the truth before he acts. He does not call checking curiosity. He does not call panic love. He does not call anxiety communication. He does not hide desperation under polite words. He says, I want to do this because I want relief. Then he chooses discipline. He writes the message in his notes and does not send it. He puts the phone away. He walks. He trains. He prays if faith is part of his life. He sleeps. He lets the urge rise and fall without obeying it. Pain can be felt without being followed. That is emotional control. You can miss her and still not text. You can care and still not chase. You can feel rejected and still not beg. You can want answers and still not reopen the wound. That is what makes a man strong. Not pretending he does not feel, feeling everything and still choosing his standards. Now, will your silence affect her? Maybe. Maybe she wonders why you stopped. Maybe she expected you to break first. Maybe she checks quietly. Maybe she asks about you. Maybe she remembers your patience. Maybe she realizes your attention was more valuable than she admitted. Maybe she feels the absence of the man she thought would always be available. But do not become addicted to imagining that. Because if your silence depends on her reaction, you are still controlled by her. If every day you ask, is she feeling it yet? You are still living in her world. If every improvement is secretly for her regret, you are still chasing. If your growth only matters if she sees it, it is not fully yours yet. Real growth belongs to you. It makes you better even if she never comes back. It strengthens your life even if she never apologizes. It rebuilds your confidence even if she never admits it was wrong. That is how you know it is real. So do not ask only, is my silence breaking her? Ask, is my silence rebuilding me? That question matters more. Because the highest victory is not that she misses you. The highest victory is that you no longer lose yourself when she does not choose you clearly. A man who only feels powerful when a woman regrets losing him is still dependent on her emotions. A free man does not need her regret. He needs his peace. He needs his direction. He needs his standards. He needs his self respect. That is the real prize. Now, if she reaches out after expecting you to beg, this is where you must stay calm. This is where most men fail. They finally stop chasing. They finally stop checking. They finally start rebuilding. Then one day her name appears on the phone and the old man wakes up. He replies too fast. He writes too much. He asks if she misses him. He asks what changed. He tries to get certainty immediately. He turns one small message into a full emotional conversation. He acts like he has been waiting by the phone the whole time. And she feels it. She feels that he did not truly grow. He was just waiting. Do not be that man. A small message is not a full return. A hey is not accountability. A miss you is not change behavior. A story view is not love. A late night text is not proof that she is ready. A woman touching the door is not the same as a woman walking through it with clarity. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. Then observe. Does she bring clarity? Does she show consistency? Does she take responsibility? Does she respect your pace? Does she communicate with maturity? Or does she only want to see if she still has access to your emotions? A needy man gets drunk on words. A grounded man watches actions. Do not get drunk on words. Words are easy when someone is lonely. Words are easy when guilt appears. Words are easy when nostalgia gets loud at night. But consistency is harder. Accountability is harder. Respecting boundaries is harder. That is why you move slowly. If she says, I miss you, you can say, I hear you. What made you reach out? If she says, I've been thinking about us, you can say, I understand. What do you want to do with that? If she says, can we talk? You can say, we can talk, but I am not rushing back into anything. These are not games. They are calm boundaries. They invite clarity without begging. They show openness without desperation. They protect your peace without attacking her. A real return can handle patience. A fake return usually cannot. If she genuinely wants to reconnect, she will respect your pace. If she only wants emotional access, your boundaries may make her disappear again. Let that happen. You need truth more than temporary comfort because comfort can pull you back into the same cycle. Truth sets you free. Now, understand something important. If she expected you to beg and you did not, she may try to pull the old version of you out with guilt. She may say, so you just stopped caring? She may say, you changed. She may say, I thought you loved me. She may say, you are acting cold now. Do not let guilt drag you back into a place your self respect already left. You can care and still step back. You can love and still have boundaries. You can miss her and still refuse to chase. You can forgive and still move slowly. That is maturity. If she says you stopped caring, you can say, I did not stop caring. I stopped chasing a dynamic that was hurting me. If she says you changed, you can say, I had to. The old version of me kept losing himself. If she says, I thought you loved me, you can say, love does not mean abandoning my peace. Those lines are not for winning an argument, they are for keeping your center. A man with a center does not need to fight every accusation. He speaks clearly, then watches behavior because behavior tells the truth. If she respects your boundary, that is information. If she mocks it, that is information. If she takes accountability, that is information. If she only wants access without responsibility, that is information. Do not fear information. Fear staying blind because hope feels better. Hope without standards can ruin a man. It makes him wait too long, forgive too quick too much, chase too hard, accept too little. You need hope? Yes. But hope must be led by truth. Truth says, I can care about her and still protect myself. Truth says, I can miss her and still not chase. Truth says, I can forgive and still move slowly. Truth says, I can love deeply and still walk away from repeated confusion. That is the truth a man needs. Now, for the next 7 days, this is your reset. Do not message her first from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not reread old messages until your chest hurts. Do not send a soft message when what you really want is reassurance. Put that energy into training, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and rebuilding your identity. Train your body even when your mind is heavy. Clean your space even when your emotions feel messy. Fix your sleep because tired men make weak decisions. Eat properly because heartbreak drains your focus. Walk when anxiety hits, brought what you want to say, but do not send it from panic. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This is not about pretending you do not care. It is about proving that her silence does not own you. Every time you do not chase, you rebuild self trust. Every time you do not check, you rebuild control. Every time you do not post for her reaction, you rebuild dignity. Every time you choose your routine while hurting, you become stronger. That is how a man becomes solid. And a solid man is not easily pulled back into chaos. He does not fold because someone gives him a little attention. He does not collapse because someone becomes distant. He does not forget the lesson because someone sends a soft message. He does not become bitter, but he also does not become easy. He watches, he listens, he moves slowly. He lets actions prove what words claim. Now, let us be honest about the title. Your silence may be breaking her certainty. It may be breaking the assumption that you would always chase. It may be breaking the comfort of knowing your attention was automatic. It may be breaking the old story where she could pull away and still find you waiting. But the real thing being broken is inside you. The begging is being broken. The chasing is being broken. The checking is being broken. The need to prove your worth is being broken. The habit of making one woman's response the center of your identity is being broken. And that is good because not every part of you deserves to survive heartbreak. Some parts need to end. The part that accepted crumbs, the part that confused anxiety with love, the part that over explained to people who already knew, the part that made her silence louder than your purpose, the part that forgot you had a life before her. Let that part die and let a stronger man stand up, a man with discipline, a man with standards, a man with emotional control, a man who can love deeply without becoming desperate, a man who can miss someone without making them his master. That is the man you are becoming. Now, if she never comes back, you still win if you become that man. This is the part many men avoid because they want the story to end with her regret. They want the message, they want the apology, they want proof that silence worked, but the highest proof is not her return. The highest proof is your peace. Can you sleep without her reply? Can you train without needing her to notice? Can you work without checking your phone every 10 minutes? Can you stop asking about her? Can you feel sadness without turning it into begging? Can you remember her without reopening the wound? Can you love deeply without losing your frame? That is success because a man who can do that is no longer easy to break. He is harder to manipulate, harder to pull into chaos, harder to make insecure, harder to turn into an option. That man is attractive because he is not desperate for attraction. He has direction. And direction is one of the most powerful things a man can have. A man with direction does not orbit around a woman's uncertainty. He has things to build. He has a body to strengthen. He has money to earn. He has skills to sharpen. He has faith to deepen. He has standards to protect. He has a future that does not pause just because one person became unsure. That is real masculine power, not forcing her to miss you, not making her regret, not playing games, becoming the man who no longer has to beg anyone to see his worth. So tonight, when your mind tells you to check if she feels it yet, do not check. When your ego wants proof that she misses you, do not search for proof. When your heart wants to send one small message, do not send from panic. When loneliness tells you to reopen a door that hurts you, breathe, put the phone down, stand up. Drink water, walk, train, pray, work sat lieb. Bill, do one thing that makes tomorrow better because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak. You can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she did not expect, not the man who begged. Not the man who folded, not the man who kept checking after every moment of distance. The man who hurt but stayed composed. The man who cared but did not abandon himself. The man who wanted her but did not make her return the measure of his worth. The man who turned silence into strength, pain into standards, and loss into direction. That man is hard to forget. That man is hard to replace. That man is free. So remember this. She thought you would beg, but you stayed silent, not to destroy her. Not to punish her, not to play games, but to rebuild the man she never expected you to become. If she comes back, you do not rush, you do not punish, you do not collapse, you listen, you observe, you let actions prove what words cannot. If she never comes back, you keep walking because the deepest truth is this: the goal is not to make her suffer from your silence. The goal is to become so grounded that her silence can no longer make you suffer the same way. And in the next video, you will learn the quiet signs she regrets expecting you to chase and how to handle her return without giving away the power you worked so hard to build.